Here at the Historic Farm Show, we're talking to Betty Bensyl, who's with the I&I Antique Tractor and Gas Engine Club. We're talking about you're emphasizing Penfield this year, and it's 140 years of Penfield, and you've got a whole collection of things here. Tell me some of it.
Well, each year we'd like to change our displays a little bit, and since our club was celebrating 40 years, we realized that Penfield is 140 years. So we asked them to bring some things in. We've got some different varieties of school desks. The one in the corner actually is one we found in the attic of the old school here. So we've got various stages of school desks, which of course when we get our one-room school redone, these type of things will go in there. We have pictures, and we even have some report cards from people. We have listings of all of the teachers and stuff that have been at this Penfield school. And there also was St. Lawrence Catholic School here for many years.
Yeah, I was going to say there were a couple schools in Penfield.
Yes, they were very thriving, and it was in the 60s that one closed. So we've got a lot of beautiful pictures they brought in of the sanctuary and the school and the members in it. Just a lot of, you learn something every day from people in here when they come in and talk about their town.
And we were talking before, that picture dates back to the Civil War, so you're talking an old picture.
That's right, and trying to see who some of the members are, some of the family members that are still living around in the area. It's just nice to see them saved instead of sold somewhere for somebody just wanting it for their frame or something. It's just...
Should ask Darius. He was in the Civil War, wasn't he?
I don't think so. He knows a lot, but maybe not back that far.
You also got some other pictures of the schools back here. Like this was St. Lawrence School.
This was the St. Lawrence School. They had a grade school and a high school. The Methodist Church also, we don't have too much in here on that right now. That was disbanded, and they donated that to the club, so we call it our old church, which we do have on the corner of the grounds. So we've got a lot.
And over here you have some things from what used to be the sale barn.
Yes, Penfield was noted for their sale barn. The first sale was in 1931, and it was big time. We had a railroad through here at the time, so naturally they were. When you go back to the Centennial book and read it, there was a lot of cattle that got shipped out. We have the original slate board or chalkboard, whichever you want to call it, from the sale barn. Gordon Klingon was one of the part-time owners. We have a sketching here that a student from the U of I took back in April of '62. It's kind of nice because it helped us design where the chalkboard should be. They would write on it was what was being sold, and then they'd turn it around to the buyers, and they would know what was being sold at that time. So just a lot of history pictures here of elevators, banks, grocery stores. We have the butcher block of one of the grocery stores in town, the Happy Hour store. We had a quilters club. It disbanded just in 2004. So we just got a lot of different information here.
And I see you've got ball uniforms from the Penfield Old Timers team.
Yes, we do. We've got the ball uniform and several caps from there. And we did list the members that were on the Old Timers team. They were quite good that year, I understand. They had a roving trophy, they said, in '75 that was passed around in town for that. We also have a quilt that was won during the Centennial, too, that we have that on display here, too.
How do you end up with all of this interesting stuff? Do you send out notices to people, or do you just have your club members know you need things and they talk to other people and just collect them?
All of the above. Actually, it was at this time last year at our show when we were talking about our club being 40 years. We realized Penfield's 140. So we started talking to people then, telling them. So they had it on their minds, because if we don't get an idea what we want to change in our room this time of year, all of a sudden it's time for the show again. So we do like to change displays to make it interesting for everyone.
And now, of course, the club took over this building a few years back to restore it and preserve it, because otherwise it would have fallen victim to the times like so many other buildings.
Exactly. In fact, when we started out with the auxiliary, we had just the one room. and we were so crowded and there were things. We finally talked our men, you got to, find it at a time when they can do something for us, and we had them to knock out the walls between the two rooms so we expand this. It's actually we used to always call it just our household display, but we have other things beside that too, so it is part of our museum. Yeah.
And back there you have some of the grocery items and store things that you would have had years ago.
Right, and hats and hankies and quilts, and our sign up there, the Penfield Improvement Association, that was a PIA building that we had on the grounds, and it was destroyed in fire. I can't tell you the exact year, but when that went down, we saved the sign, and that is what is now our I&I Club Hall on the grounds. The building was built for that. So we have tools, and we have tools in the museum and in the gym, and upstairs there's 2 rooms of tools for the farmers to look at. But this was kind of things originally for the women to look at. Now just as many men are coming in here as women.
Well, I like some of the old hats you've got collected. I think hats are making a comeback. They were gone for like a generation, and now they're coming back.
And the gloves too. So, and it's really interesting to listen to all the stories people come in and tell. You learn a lot from them.
You ever try to record some of those, write down some of the stories about what somebody did?
I should do that.
You should.
But they'll bring their grandchildren in or great-grandchildren in and say, Grandma had this or we did that, and it's just.
And if you don't do things like that, like what you guys are doing, the history is just lost and it's gone. And you have a town like Penfield, which nowadays isn't that big, but in its time was quite a little metropolis.
Yes, it was. You had a lot of businesses, several taverns, several grocery stores, banks, sale barn, a little bit of everything in town. You didn't have to go travel far. You had a veterinary, doctors. Of course, you didn't have to, wasn't able to travel very far.
Yeah, with transportation the way it is nowadays, I think that's what happened to little towns.
And it was close to the railroad. Now, the railroad doesn't come through here, so as you see across the country, that's what happens to a lot of the towns when the railroads go. This really stresses a little more of the auxiliary. We have the old-time kitchen with the canning equipment on it, different sizes of cast iron skillets. We have refrigerators. We have a round ice box.
That is really interesting, your round ice box.
Round ice box. We do put ice in it every day. Can't get a block like you used to be able to get, so we have to freeze our own so-called block. And then we have a refrigerator there. Also have all kinds of washing equipment. We have a copper stove. We have a locomotive washing machine over there that goes back and forth instead of round and round. So just different areas of that.
I never heard of one that goes back and forth. That's interesting.
Back and forth. It was powered by gas. So that was kind of just a...
When you see these old-time equipment, you look at the washing machines and the canning equipment and refrigerators, you realize how much time was spent in the past doing what now we do, boom, 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 no big deal. You had to spend a lot of time getting things cooked, prepared, cleaned for the families.
Yes, you had to get your water hot for your washing machine. You spent one day doing laundry, another day doing ironing, and I don't think too many people do that nowadays. You can't just push a button.
Yeah. And the canning equipment, I think, is people forget all about the whole canning experience.
Exactly. And, it's good food. I mean, you've got your own right there. You raised your own food. You raised your own green beans, your own potatoes, and dug them and preserved them in a cellar. I remember having to do that as a child. My dad said, okay, it's time to come up here. We've got to take the sprouts off the potatoes so they'll last longer. And we'll put them back down in our cave out in the yard. The toaster, I use that at my grandmother's, sitting on top of the stove. You sit your slice of bread up on the side over the gas burner, and it would do your toaster instead of pushing a button. And
Yeah, I think for the ease and comfort that we've sacrificed a lot of the quality and freshness. I mean, like you said, it was your own crops you came in and did things with.
Yes, and we have had demonstrations in here before. Mary, we've had her churning butter before, and kids in here tasting it on a cracker and stuff. So it's we dig potatoes every year out here too. So.
Well, thank you very much, Betty, for all your information about what you're showing here in the 140th anniversary of Penfield, and invite everyone to see it while you're here at the farm show.
Our museum is open the second Saturday of every month from 9 to 12. April through September, or by appointment. Anytime any group comes up, I think we've got a Model T club coming up, and all we just have somebody here to open up the museum, and happy to show it to people.
Okay. Thank you. From Historic Farm Days, I'm Bob Iverson.